Welcome to the Miller Report, RealClear Journalism. I'm Maggie Miller. I'm joined by Mark Mills, the RealClear Energy Future Forum Conference Co-Chair and the Executive Director of the NCEA. Quite the title you got there.
That's a mouthful.
It's fantastic to have you back on. Obviously, we spoke before the event began, but now we are here and you have delivered your remarks. So I do want to touch a little bit about what it is that you were speaking to.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is a question that someone wrote in for you, okay?
I'm ready.
With AI and data center demand accelerating electricity consumption across the country, what changes in federal policy or regulation are needed to ensure that the United States can build critical energy, the infrastructure that's required to keep things reliable and affordable?
Well, I'll say that the question has in it an implicit assumption that the government should do something to make it possible. I will expose my bias to say that in general, the reductio ad absurdum and the truth of markets is the government should do nothing but get out of the way. Now, it's a slight exaggeration, but by and large, the markets are capable technologically of meeting these demands. The impediments are typically governmental. The government is typically not the enabler, but the barrier to the velocities of what markets are trying to do. That said, governments have a role. Guardrails, regulations. So what should the government do? Look hard at the guardrail regulations and determine which ones are in fact impeding unnecessarily the ability of the market to respond in a way that meets the demands. Because the demands from data centers are not coming from subsidies or because of a government program or because of top-down orders. They are coming, which people need to remember, organically from we humans using the tools, the magic of the internet, of one-stop shopping, of even playing with AI to do the kind of video games that we think are fun. Whatever we're doing, whether it's commerce or serious in business, that bottom-up demand is what's animating the supply. That is the building of these incredible, huge data centers. So it's a bottom-up demand. The market's responding. Get out of the way.
Do we have either the funds to do so, the space to do so? How do we and also the energy to meet that demand? Besides government staying out of it, how do we keep moving forward and allowing that to flourish?
So the money, the land, the energy. So it's a good question because these new enterprise scale data centers are in material terms, tons of steel, tons of concrete, use more of that than skyscrapers. And we're building 10 times more than we are building skyscrapers. So, and they take up a lot of land because they're the size of shopping malls. So we like asking at the dawn of aviation, do we have the room for airports? Please, yes we do. Do we have the land for airports? Yes. Can they be annoying? Well, sure. But did we ban airport construction because they're noisy and use a lot of land? Well, no. Data centers take up less land than airports. There'll be a lot more of them than airports, but sort of same order of magnitude. Do we have the money? Well, yes. It's not our money. We're only paying for it indirectly in the demand for services that animate business to deploy their private capital. So data centers are being built with private capital. Do they have the money? We know the answer to that. They've announced hundreds of billions of dollars of spending, and so the naysayers say, oh, they can't afford this. And yet, in this last quarter, all of the hyperscalers, all of the tech titans have reported record profits. Profits are soaring. Where do profits come from? People buying your product that you compete to sell into a free market, and yet profits are soaring. So yes, the evidence is in play. They have the capital.
The energy.
Do we have the energy? So energy supplies are, and I'll reveal my bias as a physicist, are unlimited. Energy supply is limited by our ability to build machines fast enough and get permissions to put them where we need to put them. So do we have enough? So far, the underlying resource is adequate. The grids can't handle it all by themselves, so a lot of it will be private grid. That's already happening. Most of it's going to be natural gas fired. We have gushers of gas in America. So the constraints are the engines that turn gas into electricity. The constraints are the parts of the grid where data centers go have enough extra electricity. And the answer is different in different places. If I were betting today, I would say it's going to be a 50-50 split. Half of data centers will be powered privately off-grid with gas. The other half will be on grids dominated by gas, but with lots of other stuff, from wind and solar to refurbished nuclear plants, reanimated coal plants. We're going to be doing everything because the demand is big.
Obviously, energy is a global discussion. So, as we're entering a period where energy security could be seen as synonymous with national security, especially in the tech sector and in this sector, where do we go?
So we now know energy security and national security are linked by the obvious. As we're talking, we're still in the middle of what I'm calling the Battle of Hormuz of the 21st century. It's not just about Iran. It's obviously what's animated the reaction in markets is the Strait of Hormuz being shut down, where a fifth of global trade in oil and a fifth of global trade in natural gas transits or used to transit, and it's been slowed to essentially a halt. This is going to change not only the conversation, to use that overused word, it's going to change the conversation about supply chains and security. Already is, but it will change. Well, the long tail of this will be what oil and gas importing nations do to de-risk their future threat of another disruption like that. And the answer is already, again, evident in the activities that are beginning. What they will do to de-risk oil or gas imports that have to transit the Strait of Hormuz is buy oil or gas from places that don't have to go to the Strait of Hormuz. So what does that mean? A lot more offshore oil and gas. Norway's already announced more projects in the North Sea. Exxon's already announced more exploration off the shore of Nigeria and Trinidad and Tobago, even offshore Greece. U.S. shale fields will eventually respond as well. So other non-Strait of Hormuz choke point sources of oil and gas will expand because they can. And the price premium that will entail, and it will be a price premium, will be the insurance premium to offset the security risks that everybody has now rediscovered.
All right. Mark, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.